I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going to hell.
'19 Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Redeye with launch control. Honestly, the launch is underwhelming because this has no traction. There's so much power.
What's the horsepower and torque?
797 horsepower, 707 pound-feet of torque from a 6.2 liter supercharged V8.
So that's up 90 horsepower from the original 707 Hellcat.
Yeah, and it's only down about 11 horsepower from the friggin' Demon.
So this is only available in automatic transmission.
Yes, it is. I don't think you'd be able to shift fast enough. Otherwise, if you take your hands off the wheel, you'd probably die.
But we did drive the original Hellcat Widebody in manual transmission.
And it was incredible.
I loved that.
Yeah, so did I. It made a lot of sense. It was actually one of the most perfect muscle cars, but I think this one might be better.
So this is more track focused than I guess the original Hellcat or the Demon.
It is, so we should probably test it into Cliche Corner. Now the rules, as we made them, we have to sweep Cliche Corner if it's over 700 horsepower and if it's rear wheel drive. So I had to sweep Cliche Corner, and now I'm ready for Ascend. Are you ready, Yuri? This is in sport mode because traction is insane. Here we go. This is just way too much power for the roads. There's no reason that this should be legal. Like, there's no reason that this should be street legal.
If they made it in a manual, I think it would keep people under control more, but in automatic, like, you have so much speed at your fingertips, like...
I actually feel like I'm going to go to jail at any point, possibly during this review. And full disclaimer, I have never put this into traction and I have never turned it off because I'm not here to prove any points about what the hell I can do. This car, I can't afford to write it off.
It's like this McLaren and the 911 GT2 RS are the cars we won't put into traction off.
Yeah, it's just not worth it to us. I would love to, but I can't afford to write this off.
On a track, maybe.
This thing still does full burnouts and donuts on regular traction. So let's talk about that power because that's the most obvious thing to talk about. Supercharger whine for days.
Yeah, the supercharger on this is pretty much the most amazing thing ever.
So it's actually bigger than the regular Hellcat one. So this is a 2.7 liter supercharger, pretty much straight from the Demon. There's a lot of Demon parts on this as well. The exhaust sounds super crazy. We have active exhaust. Obviously, it sounds unreal, so loud. It sounds demonic, basically. I took this through a tunnel, nearly went deaf with the windows down, loved every second of it.
So you're sticking in manual mode, right?
Yes.
How's the shifting?
The shifting's super quick. It's a ZF 8-speed auto.
Do you know when to shift?
Absolutely never. Basically, I shift by sound completely. Pretty much every time you nail the throttle, about 2 seconds after that, you have to shift.
I did notice the shift light in my peripherals. I think it's very good. It goes red right in the middle, but you can set your own shift points.
Yeah, I set them to 5,500 just to see if it would help, and it pretty much really doesn't for me.
For me, at 5,500, I haven't missed a shift, but I might be going a little early. Also, there's not much room to do many shifts.
No, there isn't. Within the confines of the law, watch our police car review.
And before we keep going, we know a lot of you guys aren't subscribed who watch, so just hit the subscribe button.
And hit the notification bell too.
And hit the pedal.
Okay, so if I'm in second gear, no matter what RPM I'm at, this thing will just light up the tires and spin them going in second gear. Third gear, almost sometimes.
So let's address the tire situation right now. We are on all seasons, not performance summers.
That's right, and the 305s all around, they are fat tires.
And what is the Continental recommended tire?
The Extreme Contact Sport. So the biggest thing I find while driving this, because I always want to floor it, it's basically how big your balls are and how long you stay into it. Like, how much of a ticket do you want?
For me, I found it's how big your balls are, flooring it at the beginning and staying in it.
Or in a corner.
Yeah, well, that first instant, it's like, okay, the car is moving. Do I stay in it and keep pointing it straight? Or do I just back off because I'm a little bit of a wuss?
Yeah, never back off. As long as you stay in it, you usually end up pretty good. It's when you back off, that's when you have problems when you're sideways. When in doubt, flat out, Colin McRae.
Oh my God. We do not recommend that to you.
So back to those Demon parts and things. So I did mention that this had 11 less horsepower than the Demon. That's on pump gas because the Demon does 840 horsepower on race fuel. So if you just ran it on regular street fuel, almost the same horsepower as this. And part of the reason that this has less horsepower than the Demon is the intake scoop. The Demon has this one long one across the hood. This one has a slightly smaller one, so it's actually taking in less air, so it does have less horsepower almost because of that.
So it's got 2 holes on the hood like a Ram Air, but if you look underneath the hood, there's only one exit for it.
Yeah, the other one looks like it might be connected. We're not sure.
We need to borrow Matt Watson's toilet drain snake of truth. See if it goes all the way through.
Toilet drain snake.
It's gross though.
Ugh. And then there's also the headlight hole, which the Demon also has. And what else did this get from the Demon? It's got 2 fuel pumps. This thing just destroys fuel. And then it also has upgraded drive shafts, half shafts, more cooling, and it also has the SRT power chiller, which takes in the air conditioning, routes it into the supercharger, cools down the air so that we boil in here, but the engine's cold, so you get maximum performance for more time.
I appreciate that.
I put this thing into track mode the first time. I'm like, all right, I'm in track mode. This is amazing. Why am I so hot? I thought the AC was broken, and then I put it in the sport mode, and everything was fine.
That's pretty funny. I like that though.
It is hilarious. And it also has a bunch of cool tricks up its sleeve, which we will get to later. But first,
today's sponsor, Pelote Shoes.
We've been wearing these shoes for just about a year now, and we've loved every single pair we've had.
What are you wearing today?
I'm wearing the Endurance, which is their newest shoe.
I'm wearing my Pistone X in white ballistic for a casual look.
I've also been wearing my Campione to events when we go to events and we have to dress up nicely.
And if you want to get really fancy and match your car, you can get the Officina in plum.
Yeah, so this car paint is called Plum Crazy.
So check out the rest of Pelote shoes on pelote.ca or pelote.com. Use our coupon code SBSS15 for 15% off until the end of June 30th. So now the looks.
Right before the looks, there's some cool performance stuff that I really like about this. Can I
Okay,
talk about
even
it?
more?
Yes, there's way more. It has this thing called the after chiller. So when you shut down the car, it'll take the AC and run it continuously when the car is off to cool it down even faster.
That's why it's so loud when you park it.
So now I'm gonna do one last send into the looks. I love this thing so much.
Okay, so it's purple.
Yeah, Plum Crazy.
That's a traditional Mopar color.
And it works so well on this thing.
Yeah, when this thing pops, it pops so hard. I think the Challenger has got such a good body line. They've been running this for like 10 years almost.
Yeah, and because of the wide body package that we have,
It's like
it doesn't
completely
even,
refreshed.
Yeah, it doesn't even look dated.
So you can get this in wide body and non-wide body.
If you get this in non-wide body in a Hellcat Redeye, you are a psycho.
Because the tires are going to be thinner.
Exactly.
Get a, well, do whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want, but definitely get a wide body.
So what else is different than the original Hellcat we drove?
It has a different hood, which is a throwback to old Mopar stuff.
I do like that it's black.
I do like it too, but I think it's a little too pricey. It's $1,500 to black out your hood.
No problem with that. So the headlights are the same as the original Hellcat we drove.
Yes, they are.
Pretty much everything's the same, but we've got a different spoiler on the back of this one.
Yeah, this one is an optional spoiler, and it looks really good, and there's no Hellcat badge on the rear end on this one.
From the back end, it looks like a 1979 Trans Am or something.
It looks incredible.
Looks
from the rear
like
end.
a lowered Bandit.
Yeah. And the stance on this thing from the side, it's just raked. It's so aggressive. It's perfect.
Do you like the looks of this more than the skinny tires on a Demon?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I agree, but the Demon is also like super cool because the Demon badge is a Demon guy, but this is a Hellcat badge, but slightly different.
Why is it different?
It's got a little red eye.
Oh, look at that. They put a red eye on a red eye.
I think that's the only reference to the model name in this whole thing.
It is?
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because this is technically an option package on top of the Hellcat. It's not its own model.
But how much? There's like a million different Challengers you can get.
There's at least like 7.
So are you claiming that this is the best one of all?
Well, I haven't driven the Demon because you can't get it anymore, but so far from what you can get, I think this is my favorite. I love that manual one, but this one's just psychotic. Like, this is no usable power. You can't use this on the streets. This is the perfect car. I love it. Everything about it is insane. None of this should exist. I love everything about it.
And you know what they did from the factory? They accidentally took off those cool yellow bumpers at the bottom.
That's not accidentally. You're
Oh,
supposed
man.
to take those off.
And how about the wheels and the Brembos?
The wheels look so sick. They are the devil's rim.
They are so deep.
Yeah, I love them. And then we also have Brembos behind them. You can get gunmetal, black, and I think orange only for free, which are weird colors, but I get it. So before I let you drive, let's talk about some handling. So there is obviously some body roll. This still is a Challenger, but it does have adaptive suspension. So if you put it in track mode and then dial the traction control back, It's actually pretty stiff, but it's still very comfortable. And then if you put it in the softest mode, it's great for cruising. It's the perfect muscle car. It obviously does have a lot of weight, but this is the more track-oriented one, and I would absolutely love to attempt to not kill myself on a racetrack with this. I think it'd be so fun.
Well, the thing is, last time we went to the track with the Veloster N, we were chasing down a Hellcat. He beat us through the straights, but we had him through all the curves the whole time.
It wasn't a wide-body Redeye, though.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, I know.
It's got the angry cat, and we were catching. Maybe we're just really good drivers, though.
Maybe. We did get pretty quick.
But hearing that thing,
it's the best.
That is the best sound of any car, I think.
And now I think you should experience that from the driver's seat.
Obviously, going to start with a non-launch control launch.
Be my guest. It just does burnouts.
But it's controllable.
It is.
As long as you have some skills when it comes to rear-wheel drive cars, you'll probably be fine, unless you're too ballsy.
Yeah, so basically, you have to know what you're doing. You have to have driven some pretty fast cars to know what you're doing in this, because this will step out on you all the time.
Like, do you think our fathers could drive this car effectively?
I don't think so.
You think they'd get...
I'm sorry, Dad.
I'm giving you the black key.
Yeah.
Like, if they had the black key, I think they'd be all right.
I think so too.
Because it starts up in auto, in eco mode, and eco mode is only like 596 horsepower or something.
500.
Okay, yeah, but it's a lot more controllable. It feels like a completely different car.
To be honest, I did not drive this in 500 horsepower, not even once.
And through Cliche Corner, I feel like I'm more on my brakes than on the gas.
And sideways.
So controllable, though.
It is.
Okay, this or the M2 competition in not manual.
I would take this for sure.
Yeah.
Like, no question.
But they both feel very similar.
Yeah, but this is just psychotic.
But don't they feel similar?
In controllability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've driven an M2 comp, same thing, just a little bigger.
Yeah, a little bit. Twice the horsepower.
Sounds way better.
Yeah, it looks a lot better too. And that little drifty drift, sport traction.
Yeah, I don't want to go any more
That's
than
what I'm saying.
But I feel like we'd have to take a completely different approach to driving this than we do with like the front wheel drive hot hatches.
Yes, this would be like a racing simulator where you have to wait to apply throttle before you spin yourself out.
Oh yeah, like when you try, you're like, I could drive this Corvette with everything off.
Yeah, no, there's no cheating in this system.
So I'm gonna rattle off some things that are the same as all the other Chryslers. We've got half paddles only at the top.
That bothers me a lot in this.
It does, especially after driving all those cool Italian cars that are owned by FCA.
Yeah, exactly. Alfa Romeo, Maserati.
And for a car that mostly goes straight, it's like, yo, just column mounted paddles.
And it has so much power, you just want bigger paddles.
Yeah, but then we've got our volume control buttons on the steering wheel, which I absolutely love. We've got our rewinding satellite radio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, gauges that show every single number. Like I said earlier, the shift light flash is very easy to see if you train your eyes to look for it.
And those gauge numbers go up so quickly in this. It's basically a blur.
Oh, for sure. But it's cool that it's an analog tach. Remember on the Trackhawk, we hated it because it was digital and we didn't know when to shift?
Yep.
Problem solved. And then we've got the performance pages where we've got our line lock and we've got all our other cool stuff.
Okay, let me get into that quickly. So we have our race options. So when you click that, you have your launch control. So I set this to a couple different RPMs. The first one was maximum. All I did was a burnout, like a standing burnout.
What was maximum?
3,000 RPM. So I had to dial that back. I tried 2,500, nope, still burnout. So then I did 1,900, nope, still burnout. 1,700 RPM, does not do burnouts, and it's a very light launch.
To be honest, I like my squealing tire launch more.
Yeah, well this would do it if you just kept raising it. And then we have our race cooldown in there as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You just click on it and it tells you exactly what to do.
Oh, pretty cool, good one.
Oh, you just click on the activate cooldown and it shows you your target temperature, the ambient temperature, and where you are to get down there.
It's so cool. Sorry about that.
It's what more cars should have.
Yes.
And then you're gonna have like your 0 to 60 timers, your brake stopping, which this has friggin' unreal brakes. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, that's good.
That's really good for this size.
And the seatbelts tighten quite a bit in this.
And like pretty much everything else by FCA, the shifter is down for up for down, the correct way. Thank you very much.
And it does shift quickly if you use that or the paddles.
Then like most FCA products, I'm pretty sure the visor test is going to pass with flying colors. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And we got the extension.
That's a really small extension, but it does work. Full pass.
Small cup will just barely fit.
But it is a pass.
And like all the other Challengers, we've got that cool brushed steel or grinded steel interior.
Yeah, exactly. It looks really nice still.
Soft touch everywhere. The seats are super comfortable.
Got a nice little SRT badge with a red eye over here.
But there's no red eye in the stitching. Do you see one?
No, I didn't either.
You're gonna have to add that with some like little like bejewel kits or
A little Sharpie.
No, you need like the jewels from
Oh, the
Michael's.
actual? Yeah.
To get some arts and crafts up in here. And then some weird things I noticed in this, which may have applied to the other Challengers. If you fold the back seats down, at your height, you pretty much don't have any room to fold the back seats down.
Yeah, I couldn't sit comfortably in the driver's seat.
Because the headrest steps into the back. But if we go into the trunk, we got a ton of room.
Yeah, we do. It's actually a pretty massive trunk. This is a muscle car. This is the only muscle car left. The Mustang is a sports car. The Camaro is a sports car. This is it. There's full throttle.
You need to mentally prepare yourself to go full throttle.
You do.
I catch myself not full throttle so much, but when you don't go full throttle, if you're in the right RPM, you get a lot of supercharger whine. Like,
that's exactly it. So while I drove this at the speed limit, I would actually have people like grabbing their wives, husbands, picking up their dogs off the ground, like moving their strollers off the sidewalk. People are scared of this thing. Everybody sees it. I get death glares, but I also get a lot of thumbs up. I really like it. I'm just so happy that this car actually exists. There's no reason for it to exist.
yeah, it's pretty much perfect.
It is. It's insane. It's way too fast for its own good.
But it's still very controllable.
It gets terrible gas mileage. It doesn't matter though. None of these things actually matter.
Well, I think it's the supercharger whine that sets it apart from everything else, because no other supercharged car really sounds like this.
No, and the exhaust is also so violent. I just love everything about this.
So is there any car that you would take over this right now? Like, would you take a Demon over this if you had the option?
Well, I've never driven a Demon.
Yeah, but from what you think.
I have to say yes, just because of how limited the Demon is. And I would just keep the fatter tires on it.
So, okay.
But that's it. Like, I haven't driven a Demon and it's way more limited, but this is pretty much like getting a Demon.
Would you want to drive this on a track?
Absolutely. I can't wait to. Hopefully I can one day.
Do you think you'd be faster than your Veloster N times at Cayuga?
I don't think so,
It's
but it
hard.
would be way scarier and way more fun because of that.
I would love to see the difference in driving a muscle car fast than driving a hot hatch fast.
Yeah, and then we'd have to leave the track like 3 times to get gas and stuff too.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So this really doesn't have any competition.
Not really. Like nothing direct.
Like the M5, kind of.
Kind of in like horsepower and speed and all that.
But then that's a 4-door in luxury, and this is a muscle car 2-door.
Yeah, so then if you throw in the E63 into that, or the AMG GTR,
This is a weird car, but I think it's the best car.
then there's also the Camaro ZL1 1LE, the upcoming Mustang GT500 maybe. Nobody has known those numbers yet because they haven't released them at the time of this video.
At the end of the day, this is the best car.
This is the best muscle car. This is one of my favorite cars ever, and I would love to own one.
This is probably the coolest experience.
Yeah, it's just so insane. Like, I hope this translates on video how crazy this is and how much we love this, because it's just so special.
This is the most scared I've ever been. But let's talk about the price.
Yeah, it's actually kind of reasonable. $94,000, $195 for the starting price for the Redeye. This one is sitting at $117,220.
Canadian.
And that is insane value for money for horsepower.
So then that's about the same price as the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio we drove.
Yes, and probably right around the Giulia.
This or one of those.
There's no question I would take
You
this
think
over.
this?
I would honestly hesitate. If someone handed me the keys to a McLaren and this, I would hesitate.
You'd have to think a little. You'd take the McLaren, but you'd have to think a little bit about it.
I'd have to think a lot about it.
If you had to pay maintenance, you'd end up with this one.
And maybe if the doors went up on this. No, don't do that. So let us know if you guys think that there's a crazier car. Is this the end of the line for crazy gas cars? Let us know what you guys think.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Check out patreon.com/TheStraightPipes, join our YouTube membership, check out Teespring, and check out Pelote.ca and Pelote.com for 15% off your order.
I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. Subscription break. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right now. Subscribe. We didn't do that. We've driven McLarens. We've driven the GT2 RS. I wasn't scared in those cars.
No, the Aventador, the Huracan. Like, I was scared in them, but I guess we didn't turn as much stuff off.
No, like even in the regular traction or track traction, it was still fine.
Yeah.
This is just scary.
This is scary.
I love it.